Niners were in the NFC Championship last year against the Packers, destroyed them. Well, a year later, the Packers made it back. The Niners didn't. The Niners had a bunch of injuries this year. If the Niners can have a similar level of health that they had in 2019, and they weren't that healthy in 2019, will they be the NFC favorites next season? Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Matt.
I can start off. I think the Packers, as of right now, will be the favorite for next season, regardless of how this week and if they win this week, how the Super Bowl plays out, just because they do have Aaron Rodgers, they do have their head coach in place, and they do have Devontae Adams, who's, in my opinion, been the best receiver in the NFL when he was on the field this season. I think the Niners have a few matchup problems with the Packers. I know they matched up well in 2019, but without that safety that can defend the MVS deep ball or the Allen Lazard deep ball, that I think does hurt the 49ers. They need to find that safety to complement Jimmy Ward's box tackling ability, and they need to find a pass rush that will help Nick Bosa, because I know the pass rush was probably, in addition to the running game, the biggest part about facing the Packers. But without DeForest Buckner, without a 9-sack Eric Armstead, and without K'Wan Williams blitzing out of the slot, that hurts the Niners against the Packers. I do think they have pieces to be able to get there, but as of now, I'd say Packers.
I think this question is going to be a lot easier to answer in a couple months when we see what the 49ers do in the draft, how they address free agency, etc. As of right now, I don't think we can say the 49ers are going to be the favorites. Will they be among a handful of favorites who have a shot? Sure, but it's way, way too premature to say they're going to be the favorite in the NFC, or that they can go toe-to-toe with the Packers regardless of health.
Yeah, I don't think the 49ers are going to necessarily be the favorites. They're definitely going to be contenders. They showed this year, even with all the injuries, that they weren't that far off of being a playoff team. So I think they're going to have a really good chance of getting themselves into the playoffs and really, possibly winning the NFC West, depending on what happens up in Seattle. So as far as being NFC favorites, no, but contenders definitely.
I mean, the way I look at this team, this 2020 team, is even though all the bad things that happened, Mike McGlinchey being a joke, Eric Armstead kind of sleepwalking through the season, all the things that went poorly for them, if Jimmy G had just stayed healthy and played like he did in 2019, they might be there in the NFC Championship right now. I mean, I think the NFC is wide open. Maybe the Niners wouldn't have made it back this year, but if they could just get 16 games out of a starting quarterback who's decent, I think they could make it back. I mean, look, Drew Brees is going to retire. The Saints may not be a contender next year. Tampa's going to be around. Green Bay, they're great now, but Aaron Rodgers' contract, he's going to take up 20.6% of the cap next year. They got to renegotiate that. I don't know what's going to happen there. Green Bay might not be the power next year that they are right now. If the Niners could just work it out at quarterback, I do think they'd be right back there. And I think you could argue if they had Tom Brady or 16 games of Jimmy Garoppolo, they'd be there right now. So, yeah, things looking up as long as they can figure out that one position.
Yeah, the one thing about Tampa, too, I think Shaq Barrett's a free agent, and Chris Godwin, I believe, is also a free agent. And then I think they have to lock up Gronk if that's a route they want to go, and Fournette. So a lot of their big pieces, yeah.
It's wide open.